First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. It is not often that we get to recognize a homegrown artisan who has made her living abroad in LA and New York and now Dallas. And through the process of all of those democratic strongholds, she has decided that there's a better way for the world to operate. And I am tickled to death to introduce to you tonight Melinda Rivera, and I hope you give her a warm welcome and a good round of applause. Thank you very much.
We're going to see how, if I even need this, is it on?
Yes, it is.
Is it on? It is, okay, sorry. Thank you, I want to really just say thank you for coming out tonight. I've been speaking with Jim Townsend. He told me not to call him Mr. Townsend, so I'm calling Jim. Jim knows my younger sister, Samira. I am a born and raised Artesian, a proud New Mexican. And he is correct, I did leave. I mean, you know, many of us leave, but we always come back. This is still home, no matter what. And I have my beautiful daughters, my 3 daughters that are here, 5 grandbabies. And this will forever be home, doesn't matter where I go. So I did, I left. I've had the most amazing opportunity. I decided to do fitness. And at the age of 40, I had the opportunity, as a matter of fact, I don't know how many of you watch WWE. Wrestler, right? So in WWE, a really great friend of mine, he is the boogeyman. So he is the one that eats the worms, and that's how he's known. He's a good friend of mine, and he is the one that actually got me into doing fitness. He sat me down and said I should do it. He was helping me train. So I did a fitness competition for my 40th. That took me into having an opportunity to do some modeling at 40, right? What was I going to do when I turned 40? Well, I didn't have enough money to go to Europe. I wasn't interested in, you know, flying out of a plane and going skydiving or anything. So I said, why not? You know, I've had some battles in life, physically, and very blessed to be here. I almost died a couple of times due to some illness. So actually I did, and they brought me back. So I'm very, very blessed. So the fitness was really big for me. In that fitness, I had an opportunity to do modeling. They actually flew me out to New York. First to LA. So I got to work with some very prominent photographers out there, and it was, what an experience. I was exhausted. I worked with like 6 photographers in a whole weekend, and then that was it. I was done for 2 weeks. I was really exhausted, but what a blessing. After that, I came back. That's when I met my husband Carlos. He is also in bodybuilding, so that's how we met actually. So we're both in bodybuilding. He was doing acting and modeling out in New York. So once we met, I moved out there, and he's done more acting obviously than I have. I got to do a couple of indie films. Now, I mean, we run our own business. We stopped doing that about 4 years ago. My husband started his small business out on the East Coast about 14 years ago. I worked in real estate law, so when we met, I actually we talked, and you know, we did very well. And we did very well underneath this new president that we have, our new President Trump. What an amazing difference that you could see being a small business, being Latin. And so we were very, very fortunate. We grew that business out on the East Coast. We just moved to Texas about a year and a half ago, sold it, and now we're doing our business out there. So, and I'm here, and I hear from a lot of my fellow Latinos, right? There are so many that are actually starting to open their eyes to support this president to become Republican. A couple of months ago, about 2 or 3 months ago, I was asked by Marco Rivera. And Marco Rivera is one of the co-founders of Latinos for Trump. I'm sure we all see a lot of the Latinos for Trump. Now, they are the grassroots organization network that started from 2015, the moment that our president stated that he was going to run and start his campaign. So they are Mexican immigrants, and they came to the United States. He is huge on sharing the American dream, because that's what America is about. A little bit about Marco, he came into real estate here. He lives in California, became a millionaire, an absolute millionaire. But in 2008, when the market crashed, he lost his business. So he saw something in our president when he was running. He's a businessman, he's a CEO. So what I'd like to do is I want to kind of introduce our Latinos for Trump, what it is, the organization, what it's all about. So I'm going to show this small clip that Marco has made for us, and then I will speak a little bit more on exactly what this network does, how we are a nationwide organization. We are very proud, we are very loud, we are growing. We are about 32,000 strong. So again, nationwide. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. Give me just a minute. Enjoy this clip.
What's up, guys? My name is Marco. I am the co-founder of the Latinos for Trump movement, and I'm doing this video in support of Melinda Rivera's activism to turn New Mexico red. Our coalition is willing, able, and ready to support her, to support you from across the nation to make this happen. New Mexico can be red. Donald Trump is doing extensive groundwork, and I think we can make this happen. I hope to see nothing but smiles on election night when we turn New Mexico red again. Thank you, and talk to you soon.
Lo que necesitamos, no necesitamos un presidente nuevo, necesitamos un Congreso nuevo. Y no importa que usted no esté en California, no importa que usted no esté en el Distrito 44, usted debe de apoyar a cada uno de los candidatos.
Hey y'all, so I'm here with the Latinos for Trump, and I love the Latinos for Trump, baby. Trump 2020, here we come.
That's right.
All right. So that is Marco Guterres. I just wanted to have this little clip so everybody can know. Now, we are a political online organization. We are, like I said, we're about 32,000 strong. We travel all over the nation. And everybody gets together. We go to rallies, we support. We are in the inner communities from California all the way to New York. And our main goal is that we really want to make sure that the education for the Latinos, the Hispanics, even the immigrants that are here, that we get more involved, right? Because it's very important. And let me tell you, this organization, being asked to be a part of it, I see the inside, and the Hispanic community is just really growing, and the support for this president and why. So the Latinos for Trump, again, we travel, and we're gonna be working on putting a bigger venue here in New Mexico, so we're really excited about that. They're gonna be flying in, different organizations like LFT. I'm not sure if many of you've heard of all of these motivational movements that are happening within the inner communities, the Black community. So, but as far as for us, I started, when people ask me, when did you decide that you wanted to vote for Trump? And I feel that a lot of the Hispanics that I speak with, for me, it was when he came down the escalator and he announced, Melania came down and when he announced his candidacy. As a matter of fact, my husband and I were speaking, and that was the moment when he said, I am going to run. And a lot of people ask me, but why? Did you hear what he said about the Mexicans? Did you hear how he said that Mexico allows all of their murderers and their drug dealers and their rapists? You know, how could you support somebody like that? I was living in the East Coast whenever he announced his candidacy. So I listened to it and I said, well, I don't believe that he was being racist, because somebody who speaks facts, it's not, racist. When he said that Mexico allows their drug dealers to come in, yeah, those are called the cartels. The murderers, those are the cartels too, and the rapists. And many of us, especially people like myself who are older, I've watched my community decline within the years, and we've really seen what having an open and porous border has done to our small communities, not only in New Mexico, but in Texas and Nevada. So it was very important for me at that moment that I vote logic, and I didn't hear at all, not one racist word that he said. It wasn't racist, it was just speaking facts. So I am so beyond thrilled and honored to be working with Latinos for Trump so that we can educate and teach more Hispanics of what it really means to vote logic. And we've got to let go. We've got to let go of the rhetoric that we're hearing. We have got to understand that we have to start really thinking logic over feelings, facts over feelings. That's one of the things that I like to say. So, but the Latinos for Trump, we're just a bunch of, we are men and women. We share the mutual experience of strength and hope. Our everyday living reflects on the beauty of the American dream, right? The American dream. I look at my daughters all the time, and for me, growing up, the American dream was everything. And I feel like we have lost that in our ways. We've really lost what the American dream is, the substance of the American dream. And I also tell a lot of people, growing up, I remember looking around my home, and everything inside of my home was made in the USA. How many of us can remember that? Mm-hmm. Everything was made in the USA. And I always share with my daughters, they're millennials. I'm sitting right there, they're millennials. But I had the conversation, and I'll be honest, in the very beginning, they were running with the rhetoric. They were not gonna lie, they were. Trump is being mean, he's saying all these horrible things about Hispanics and Mexicans, all this stuff, but when he said it is time to bring our manufacturing jobs back, that meant something to me, because we saw it. Those of us who grew up in the times that we did, we could watch decade after decade, we were losing ourselves. Our jobs were becoming no more, and again, like I said, everything was built in Mexico, was made in China. Now more than ever, it's made in China. I hardly ever see anything in Mexico or Vietnam. So we want to teach what that American dream is, what it was, and really, again, within the Hispanic community, and let's really educate and let's bring that back, because it's very important. So we really want to strive, and we want to reshape and establish the true and correct identity of what Hispanics in the United States of America is. What is our identity? Where do we stand? here in America. The Hispanic American race, we are the largest minority in this country, the largest. And New Mexico, actually, we hold the largest percentage. I mean, half of New Mexico is Hispanic. So, you know, we used to vote Republican back in the day. President Reagan had quite a bit of Hispanic vote. Bush also had some, I think he was like 40% voted for him. In 2016, with all of the rhetoric, Trump only lost to New Mexico by 8%. 8%, that is it. And I feel that we can definitely change that in 2020. And why? Why are we seeing this happen? Well, again, the organizations like Latinos for Trump, LFT movement, we are now noticing more and more, because it was instilled in us that we must vote Democrat. Why do we vote Democrat? Well, because the Democratic Party is for the poor. That's why we have to vote. They care about the poor. They work hard for the poor. The Republicans, they only care about the rich. And they want to continue on and help the rich become richer. So we have to vote Democrat, right? So back in the day, when it came down to voting time, I was guilty of it. I'd go to the voting booth, and everything that was Democratic, I would vote for. And I look back at that and I say, you know what? And most of the people that I voted for had no clue who they were, nor did I know what they stood for. And then you think really hard about it and say, nothing's changing for for our state, nothing's changing for our families. So I feel, and a lot of us know, we can see that this president has really opened our eyes to voting logic. He's really open. He's not a politician. He is not a politician. And that is what makes him wonderful. So that's why I voted for him. And many Hispanics like myself, immigrants, we voted for him because he wasn't a politician. I remember saying, I'm tired of hearing the promises. How many of us have heard the promises after promise after promise from every president? And this one, oh, we believe him, he's gonna do it. He's going to change things, especially for the minorities. And every time we get let down. Every single time we get let down. So more and more Hispanics are starting to wake up to that. We are watching this economy boom right now. We are watching the unemployment rate for Hispanics, for the Black African American community at its all-time, 50-year low now. 50 years. It is at its all-time low. There are so many, in October, they just added another 120,000 jobs to our economy, which is phenomenal. So the other thing that we have to worry about are the Democrats. So what has made us run away from the Democrats? For myself, it's really watching how they have blatantly misconstrued and lied and have tried to divert us from this president, from this candidate, which made me want to understand more about him. What was it about this president that they hate so much? So I try to educate people. We must do our research. We must understand the facts. We must get away from these social media networks and even our mainstream media. They are lying to us, and many of them are watching. I think, well, actually for me, when they said that watching what was happening at the border, knowing how it has affected our small communities here with drugs, watching the meth that has come through our borders and has ruined many of our beautiful family members. And I know I speak for myself. I've watched family members be lost. They're so lost in the meth. I feel, a lot of people in Artesia and the surrounding areas have a family member, have a friend who are absolutely indulged in this drug, and they can't get away. So, and many people try to tell me, well, those drugs aren't coming from the southern border. Well, where are they coming from? Absolutely, they're coming from the southern border. That's where the cartels are coming through. So, we have to continue to educate, and we want to bring on as many other Latinos onto our organization to speak, to become more educated, and to help. So for me, that's what I'm here for, in my small community, to recognize how we have deteriorated, to recognize how these open porous borders have affected us. And the Hispanic race the most, I feel, especially because we are consistently voting Democrats. How do we get away from that? How do we stop, voting for Democrats? Many of us already, like, I have family members who work in the oil fields, and they all tell me, Prima, we need to turn New Mexico red. We must turn it red. So the word is getting out there, it's happening. I think the Democrats are kind of perplexed by the Hispanic community, because I know that they're seeing that many of us are waking up. We are walking away. The Walk Away campaign is growing phenomenally. If you know who the Walk Away campaign is, that is growing, and more, I love reading the stories in there about the many people who walked away from the Democrats. Again, because we are recognizing that the Democrats only care about power, and they are doing nothing. Right now, they're doing nothing. They are sitting in the House. Nancy Pelosi, we were talking about that, they are absolutely, all they care about is destroying this president. And that is becoming more blatant to us, that they don't care about us. There are bills that are sitting there, there's so much more that they just care about just impeaching this president, and for what? There is absolutely no validity behind it. So we're also reaching out more to our millennial voters, especially the Hispanics, because the millennial voters, they're kind of on the fence. They don't care either way. They're not as educated, and they'll vote whoever they feel just sounds better. So we're gonna work with our millennials a little bit more. Hispanics now are understanding as well that we identify more as a Republican than what we do the Democratic values. And that is another thing. It's education. It's really showing that family, freedom, and faith, those are the core values of the Republican Party. And Hispanics care so much about that. The abortions, we are pro-life. The Democratic Party is not pro-life at all. As a matter of fact, they are trying to even pass, and some of them not Georgia, a lot of these Democratic leaders are trying to pass bills where they can abort all the way up to birth. That is scary. That is so scary. Our freedom is everything to us. And that is another core value of the Republican Party. And our faith, our Christianity, our faith in the Republican Party, the Democratic Party. Obama last year was trying to diminish our Christian values. And so we are really waking up to those. And I believe, and I know that is why many Hispanics are really starting to walk away even more. Now, we want to take a look, we want to look at what has Trump, a lot of people say, well, he's done nothing. He's done nothing. He has the only president that is keeping his campaign promises, the only one. Election after election, we watch our promises go out the window. Hey, we're gonna move for the Jews, let's go to Jerusalem, we're gonna move the capital. Never do it. They speak about the border. Obama was, what do they call him, the deporter-in-chief. We must protect our borders. Did nothing. So time and time again, we have only watched them lie and never keep their campaign. So Trump has absolutely kept his campaign promises. He said, we're gonna get rid of the opioid epidemic. He is working so hard on that. I am so proud, and the support that he has, I don't think he realizes. Well, I think he does. He goes to these rallies and he sees the amazing and abundant amount of people that camp out. I don't see anybody at the Biden, camping out, setting up for 2 days, so excited to go see him. You don't see that. And another thing, we cannot believe when they tell us, well, the polls are showing that, nobody's happy with him. Well, how well did those polls work out in 2016, right? Exactly. They didn't work out at all, and Trump did an amazing job. a lot of us, I speak with Marco, and a lot of us, we really feel in our hearts of hearts that he is going to win by a landslide. I mean, we're gonna see more red than what we did in the last election. I really do. At his rally in Rio Rancho, 40% of the Hispanics that were there were registered Democrats. That speaks louder than absolutely anything. Doesn't matter how much the Democrats try to deny it, you can't deny those facts at all. I think also one of the biggest issues that I have, and what I hear coming out of the Democratic Party, what I really want to share with my Hispanic and Latin community, when they said, we've got to let we need the immigrants to come in from the southern border. Who's gonna pick our fields? Who's gonna babysit our children? Who's gonna clean our homes? When did our heritage become the modern day slaves? Is that all we were good for? We wanted to bring in all of the illegals so that to make sure mow the lawn, take care of the children, and that's horrible. So that is another thing that's really waking up the Hispanic community is what are the Democrats, what have they done for us? They've done nothing. They've absolutely not done anything to support us or to really get into the communities. And what we watch with Trump has brought in African American citizens, people from the inner cities, as well as even Hispanics. Those that have a loud voice, those from the Latinos for Trump or those in the Brexit, he brings these people in to speak and to work hard and to get into the inner communities to make a difference and show. So organizations like ours is to really kind of just make that rhetoric go away. We still have a lot of people that are not there. They don't see it. They're so emotionally indulged in the rhetoric that they cannot look past the actual wonderful things that he has done, not only for our country but for the minorities. For New Mexico, it has been since 1930 that we have been red, right? It's gone Republican since 1930. That's a long time. I believe that we can do it, and we're going to fight hard. Our jobs, under this Democratic leadership right now, we are not doing well. We are not doing well at all. Our entry-level jobs are no more. Mrs. Grisham is trying to shut down our oil fields. That will collapse our economy. There is absolutely no way we can allow her and continue on with, allowing her to shut down. I mean, it's what, $2 billion a year is what our oil industry brings. I believe our economy would collapse if she did that. Entry-level jobs, we don't really have any here, and they don't want them here. They don't bring it. They want to bring up the minimum wage again. The last time New Mexico went up on the minimum wage, 60 businesses shut down. Simply just can't do it. She doesn't have a clue. She absolutely does not have a clue. And also under Trump, we have our tax breaks that they try to say that are nothing. They're crumbs, they mean nothing. I actually have a cousin that works here, he lives here. And during whenever the tax breaks happened, he called me and he said, Prima, this is for real, isn't it? It's for real. I said, what? And she goes, the tax breaks. I said, absolutely it is. He goes, my paycheck, I was waiting. My paycheck, he goes, I have $200 left because of the tax breaks. He goes, you know what that's gonna do for me? And again, Nancy Pelosi said they were crumbs. He was so excited. He said, that is gonna help me so much. I'm gonna have an additional $200 on my check every month. I can get a new car if I wanted. So the tax breaks are for real. So people are feeling, they're feeling that, we're actually recognizing his actions are working. They've come to fruition, and they're helping every American, especially the middle class. And how many times did we hear there's going to be a recession? economy's going up, everything, you know, the stock markets are going up, let's wait for it. The sky's always falling with the Democrats, they're always falling, they try every scare tactic you can think of. And so we're still waiting for this recession, it's not happened, we're still climbing, and we're still climbing. The Dow Jones, I mean, our stock market's just through the roof. Many of us remember when Obama said, what is Trump gonna do? Does he have a magic wand? Those manufacturing jobs are never coming back. They are never coming back. His magic wand is not gonna bring them. Well, they came back. So that also, those facts that we're starting to recognize is what's really opening our eyes even more. Everything that he says is gonna happen, happens. And no matter how much the Democrats try to derive from the truth or try to blind us or scare us, we're watching our country do amazing. And even on a world stage, right? On a world stage, we are climbing. We have respect again. China can't bully us anymore. We're watching where China can no longer bully us. And when people say, the Democrats were telling us, we're gonna go to war with China, we're gonna go to war with Kim Jong-un, everything is, the sky is falling. So, and every time it doesn't happen, well, of course, organizations like ourselves, we put that message out there. We say, look, nothing happened, no war, Kim Jong-un isn't sending missiles our way. As a matter of fact, we're beefing up our military now, that was depleted. So, what does make America great again mean? And many try to say that it's racist. Everything is racist. Everything is racist. It's white nationalists. You know, it's white supremacy. Make America great. Well, people need to remember. We need to look back when we were great. And those of us that remember those times, we remember how great, how strong of a country we were. I'll take it back to where everything was made in the USA. That's what we mean by making America great again. And we have an amazing man in the White House doing it. So we need to continue to educate and bring in those, and a lot of our old school Hispanic, our uncles, our aunts, our grandparents, they're stubborn. They will not budge, and they absolutely will not listen. And to anything that we have to say about voting for, some do, the majority of them will not. So we're gonna continue on, we're gonna fight this good fight, we're gonna continue to educate. I think Trump is gonna win the Hispanic vote, and I'll tell you what, I think it's gonna be up there. I think it's gonna be about 68%. I'm gonna say 68% of the Latinos are going to vote for our president in 2020. I know, it's a steep number, but you know what, it can happen, You don't think so?
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 68%, and 40-something percent were registered Democrats of Hispanics. So we see it, and they absolutely cannot lie to us anymore. So we're gonna fight. We're gonna try to bring in a bigger rally here in New Mexico. I'm teaming up with some great organizations. We're gonna get everybody on the stage. And as you can see, newmexit, and for a lot of people who don't understand what that means New Mexico exiting from the Democratic Party. And so we want to call the rally newmexit, and we're gonna really try to see if we can bring in, absolutely, the organizations from all over are gonna be coming in, and we'll keep everybody posted. So again, in New Mexico, our Democrats currently want to impose the carbon tax. We simply cannot allow that. So this 2020 election and campaign is going to be very important for everybody, because I think our gas prices are already a little high. So we don't need them to go higher. The carbon tax that Bill 393 is what they're trying to sponsor. If it's implemented, that's gonna be the next generation carbon emission pricing plan, and within the next 5 years, it's gonna go up about 45 cents a gallon. So it's about 9 cents a year that our gas is gonna go up. So again, this goes back to, I didn't realize when I was voting for the people, I just did Democrat, and I never researched. So we have to research. We have to learn how to read up, really go, get involved, go to town hall meetings if we can, ask questions to all of the candidates that are running for our state. Because so many of us don't understand the full logistics. So we're all starting to understand that now and why it's important so that we don't stay stagnant, so that we can move on and we can become stronger and we can get better. Our jobs for our young children here, we need to really grow. Especially, I believe out here, our oil fields kind of do this. They're up and down, up and down. So we need more alternatives in the South. So let's definitely make sure that those that we vote for have that best interest. And I know Mr. Townsend does. I'm just meeting him now, but I hear nothing but wonderful things about how he is fighting for our community. So we want to thank him for that. And last but not least, but a lot of my beautiful daughter right here got to meet our Vice President Pitts when he was here, and he was speaking of USMCA. Not too many people know what that is. It's going to really benefit New Mexicans. It's going to benefit Mexico. The point that people miss is that Trump is trying to help make Mexico great again, so that we're not fleeing. You know, all of the citizens aren't fleeing to America for jobs. If we can get USMCA passed, the jobs are going to go there, and they'll be able to put their people to work. It's going to be great for us and Canada. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice now. I'm trying to drink real quick. So if we can get this, I mean, we will have millions of jobs, and as we all know, Nancy Pelosi is just sitting on that bill. She absolutely won't do anything. So as Americans, we cannot, we can't move forward. We cannot move forward because they're so busy trying to impeach this president. We will have, it will drive our growth, 40% of our growth in goods, exports, trade. Our manufacturing jobs are gonna go up about 2 million once this bill, Mexico's ready, Canada's ready. They are ready to execute this bill. We are just waiting on our wonderful Mrs. Pelosi to, get her little pin out, pass that through so we can get that going. Our farmers, our ranchers, 8.9 billion is gonna go up to about 39 billion once this USMCA passes. And it's also gonna boost our small businesses. We'll be able to create more, and Hispanics, if you didn't know, are the fastest growing in starting their small business, many of us. And so that's another reason why many are starting to vote Republican, because they see the difference, like my husband and I, being small business owners. We grew. Once Trump became president and he started taking the regulations out, our business grew tremendously, even in the blue state out there in Connecticut. We left because we learned that Democratic ran states are really going belly up. And so we left and we moved to the beautiful state of Texas. You don't have to pay state taxes over there. You get to keep more of your money. And people are fleeing New York, they're fleeing California. More and more again are starting these Democratic stronghold states. People are not surviving, and especially like California and New York, they're really suffering right now. Excuse me. Our wall. I support the wall. That's one of the biggest things people used to come, how could you be Hispanic and support the wall? Well, we don't want these drug smugglers running in and out anymore. They're human trafficking children, young women. I'll never forget, and some people try to debunk this. When I was probably about 19 years old, we used to go to Juarez, right? Because in Juarez, if you go that way, you can go and have a beer. That was the coolest thing ever. I'll never forget when they shut the border down. They shut Juarez down because they found a mass grave of about 200 women that the cartels were smuggling and using them to bring in drugs, and were killing them right there. So this has been happening for decades. I mean, this has been going on for such a long time. Sorry. Democrats are trying to shut down our ICE agencies. We absolutely cannot have that. We cannot allow them to shut down ICE because they are they work hard. Our Border Patrol, bless them for what they've been going through. But we need our ICE, and especially in these democratic states and sanctuary cities where they're really trying to discredit them. They're trying to make people believe that they are evil. They bring in the children, they're crying from the immigrants, please don't take my mom, please don't take my daddy, you know, they're good people. So it's really disheartening to see how they're really trying to get at the emotions of the American people, and we simply don't believe them anymore. We just absolutely don't believe them. But I'm sorry, I really want to just thank our New Mexico, Mr. Townsend over here for inviting me, as well as Anissa and Robin for really working hard. I know you worked really hard to put this event together. And just know that our organization is really going to continue to work severely hard and turning New Mexico red. And we will do it. We will do it this year. I mean, I'm sorry, in 2020. It's gonna happen. So I just wanna thank all of you for coming out and listening.
You talk long enough. You get more involved in the talking village where you can talk a lot.
Well, yes, and you know what, the elevators in New Mexico, I've forgotten how bad you get them whenever the wind blows.
It's a little drier out
Oh my goodness, absolutely,
But we want to thank you for coming.
absolutely.
And I want you guys to remember that, you know, it's just a math issue. I mean, if 25 people go out and tell 2 people, and they tell 2, and they tell 2, 4 times you got 2,000 people that are notified. So this issue's gotta start someplace, and it might as well start in Artesia. The history is clear. I mean, New Mexico, and in particular Hispanics, have been on the bottom of the economic chain for a long, long time. And there's absolutely no reason for that. What should happen is, I get sick and tired of people saying, well, we need to raise the minimum wage. And quite frankly, I say to hell with the minimum wage. I want you to earn your maximum potential. That's a lot more than the minimum wage. And everybody can do it. New Mexico has been 90 years. 90 years. The last time we had a Republican governor, a Republican Senate, and a Republican House was in 1929. So don't tell me it's Republicans' fault for the last 90 years. It's just not the truth. If you look at Arizona, they have prospered greatly. You look at Texas, they have prospered greatly. It's about darn time New Mexicans win in New Mexico. So, Melinda, thank you very much for coming. And I know you guys will go out and share this word. She'll be in Hobbs tomorrow night, and we look forward to having her back soon. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Some all the way from Hobbs, drive safely. Some from Commodore too.